coming to you live tonight. All right, come on in, come on in, come on in. This is Chevy Cool Lady, and tonight we're going to be talking about empaths and narcissists. Empaths and narcissists. Yeah, what a combo. Yeah, we tend to go together, don't we? Like cheese and rice, baby. Come on in, grab your coffee, and come on in. Come on in. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. All right. Welcome, welcome. This is Chevy Cool Lady coming live from the sunny shores of Myrtle Beach. That's right. Home of J.P. Miller, Solid Rock, and of course, our dearly departed Mica Francis. Tonight, we're going to be talking about personality types, the narcissist and the empath. Hey, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Old one, you are more than welcome. Tonight, we're going to be talking about empaths and narcissists. They go together like peanut butter and jelly. I don't know what the attraction is, but it certainly usually works out in the narcissist's favor. And we're going to talk a little bit about Mica, of course, and JP's relationship, because I think that's exactly what was going on there. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Chevy Cool Lady. I'm so glad you can join me tonight. Thank you so much. I love you to death. Please remember to like and subscribe, as any engagement helps my channel grow. All right. Now, I took some bullet points down from a book called The Narcissist Spirit. And this is from C.S. Lewis, who in his own right has been a controversial player. I've heard some crazy stories about this man, but the way he writes is truly profound. I've read some really beautiful stuff, and I've gotten a lot out of it. C.S. Lewis. Have y'all ever read C.S. Lewis? He's written a lot. So this is from The Narcissist Spirit. Okay. Now, there's certain spiritual types and personality types. The empath is one whose personality is really driven by mercy and kindness. The empath has really big feelings and has a lot of heart. Usually is really a kind and considerate person, but then there's the out of balance part. And that's when good judgment is overtaken by the emotions and boundaries are not drawn. And that's when the empath gets in trouble, because then she usually, or he, can become prey to someone with a real narcissistic spirit, somebody who's self-absorbed and who's kind of got the my way or the highway mentality. How an empath knows they're with a narcissist is usually by the time they go and draw some type of boundary. Usually everything will be just hunky-dory, just going along just fine until the empath draws a boundary. And now there's a problem because, like I said, the narcissist is a my way or the highway type of person and likes to set up the rules and enforce the rules. And once the empath grows a little backbone or decides things have gone too far, that's when we see them rear their ugly head. It reminds me of when Mica was finally had made up her mind. She had left JP. She was moving on with her life. she was setting boundaries. And I really think that that's what set him off. That's when we saw him do those alleged trackings and putting those little things in the tires, slashing the tires, or whatever, however Mica's complaint read. It's when she drew the boundaries, when she was ready to go, when she had had enough of his really bad behavior and wasn't putting it up with it anymore. Now, when the empath has enough and says enough's enough, they're often amazed to see how quickly and how coldly the narcissist will move on. It's like they just can do an about face. A lot of times these narcissists are chameleons, and they discard you when they are done. And it's very painful because it's like you really want them to love you. You want them to feel lost without you or something, feel something, so that you feel like your time wasn't spent in vain, because that's usually how that person feels when they're discarded. You're with a narcissist because they're not going to be there in times of crisis. When you really need them, that is when they will turn their back on you. That is when you will be abandoned, emotionally and sometimes physically too. When you need them the most, when you need that kind word, when you need a pat on the back or a hug, that's when they won't be there to do that. Narcissists are self-absorbed and cannot empathize to anyone. Although they can have a lot of emotions, they can be big crybabies. Just like we saw, really the only person I ever saw cry as much as they do is our old friend JP. We saw him on the front lawn crying like a baby. We've seen him sniffling and sniveling in multiple videos. The real breakdown on News Nation, remember that? Even the staff had no idea even how to handle that. They were like, oh, this really caught us off guard, and we're not sure why this is going on. Yeah, that's even when I heard the fisherman talk about hearing crying. That was one of my thoughts was, what if Mica had been transported to that park one way or another? We've gone over boat routes and this thing. You can look at one of my videos where I actually clipped a guy who had gone from Fair Bluff to the Princess Anne boat ramp. So it could be done. It could be done from one of those outlets like we saw connected to JP through other possibilities. Now, perhaps Mica was transported there in one condition or another, and the fisherman heard crying. And like I said, there's only one person I've heard cry the whole time. What if it was that person crying? That's just a thought. We don't know. All right. So your narcissist is never going to be there in times of crisis. They will not. In moments of despair, they will cause you to turn to God, because God's going to be the only one that's there for you. And thank God he is. Thank God he is. And, the empath must never feel foolish for loving the narcissist. Your love is pure and perfect, and it was just thrown on someone who can appreciate it. It's not your fault. It's their fault, and it's their loss. Narcissists have moments that they are amazing. They can be the most charming, funniest guy in the room. But they have a way of, they can turn that on and they can turn it off. And their charm always needs some type of validation. They're the ones that need lots of compliments and lots of laughs and all that. Do you remember in reading in the obituary that JP had written, um, talking about how Mica just adored him so much and thought he was the funniest pastor, even though it's not true, and thought he was what was the other thing? The best looking pastor, even though that's not true either. You remember that? And that was one of the worst pieces of writing I've ever seen in my life. It was so self-absorbed and truly displayed his obnoxious character, in my opinion. When a narcissist is caught red-handed, they usually make the most absurd excuses for their behaviors. It's as if a simple answer just cannot do. They'll go to great lengths to make up stories that are just kind, and they expect you to follow along and to believe every word they say, because they are inventing their own reality, and they're trying to draw you into it. I've seen that a lot of different times. A lot of times narcissistic types of spirits like to show overwhelming displays of emotion and draw you in through emotion. I saw the Scott from the behavior panel analyzed JP and said he had a histrionic personality disorder, or somebody who tries to manipulate others through great shows of emotion. And that's exactly right. These great, overwhelming shows of emotion. I remember hearing one of Mica's sisters saying that she was so embarrassed because she'd take people to church wanting to bring them in, but even her friends thought it was just a little weird that JP, as a preacher, would cry every single service like clockwork. It's really phony. It was really not heartfelt. It was an overwhelming display, in my opinion, to draw people in. Now, we also know that they cry for themselves, but do they ever even cry for anybody else? I haven't seen it. The day we should have saw it, at her funeral, I didn't see one real tear. Did you? Now, we should seek compassion, but there has to be boundaries. You have to have a moral compass to guide you through these situations, because a lot of times narcissistic personalities make their own rules. They think they're above the law, and they will break God's commands at the drop of a hat because they themselves are their own gods. And they will try to draw you into life of sin, whatever that is. If it's illegal drugs, if it's compromising sex, if it's various different situations that can happen, money situations, whatever. And you as a Christian, you as an empath, you as a moral being need to be the one with the boundaries. And like I said, you're going to know if you're with the empath, or you're going to know if you're with a narcissist the minute you put up your boundaries. And as you stand firm in them, it'll drive them crazy, and it can even become a dangerous situation depending on the type of situation you're in. If you're in a narcissistic marriage or that type of partner relationship, I always tell everybody, safety first. Don't piss people off. Make your plans. Tell few people, only people you really can trust, and do what you need to do to be safe for your kids. Whatever you need to do, be safe first. Narcissists don't like it when we break away with them. That's when we see violent patterns of behavior. That's when we see fits of rage. That's when we see stalking behavior and things that can be quite dangerous. Incessant phone calls, calling people in your circles, like your parents, your children, your best friends, trying to drag other people in, trying to drag people who are other couples or whatever in the church in on your personal business. They just love to isolate their victims so that you feel as an individual like the whole world is against you. And sometimes it even seems that way, and that's when you really need to hold on to God. Sometimes that's all that you have. It's all that you can trust, all that you can believe, and take that deep time in prayer. I get on my knees when I'm serious about praying and serious about a breakthrough. I seriously get on my knees and pray. I lift my hands to heaven. I penetrate through the sky and the second heavens right to the throne room of God with my praise. And I suggest and pray that you'll find that for yourself, because there's just nothing like it, and that's what has gotten me through everything in my life. There is such a thing as being over therapied, always turning to everybody else to try to get your prayer requests acknowledged. And sometimes you just got to do the work yourself for yourself and dig in and get a hold of God and just not let go and amazing things happen when we dig in like that. I promise you, I've seen so many miracles both in my life and in the lives of other people, and our God's a mighty big God who can do anything and everything. I really want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. I want to thank you, what is it, Sadie? God bless you. God bless y'all. I don't have the best eyes in the world, so I have to always lean way in to try to see the little chat messages and this type of thing. But man, I really appreciate it. I really enjoy doing these videos. I ask you to please like and subscribe as we're building this community from the ground up. If there's anything you would like to see researched and discussed, then please let me know in the chat, and I'll do my best to get on it, and until then, I'm doing true crime, some current events, mysteries, some crazy history we have, and just trying to pull as many people into the light of God that I possibly can, and out of the matrix and out of these spells that have been cast that we're all under and susceptible to from time to time, and to speak the truth. God bless you, man. God bless you. I appreciate I appreciate you so much. And I want to tell everybody, we all have different types of personalities that we're given. Certain things come to us through nature and genetics. Some things are formed through our surroundings, our educational opportunities, and the blows that have come our ways as well. And everything forms around your spirit man. And the main thing that this world tries to do is distract you from God. So, put your blinders on, hold on to God as much as you can in these troubled times, and, just do what you can to be good people, to spread the light, to help out, to be kind, to fight against, rage against the machine, do what you need to do, and get your minds right and get your hearts right. And that's what I'm trying to do too. I'm not in any way trying to make it seem like I'm better than anybody else, because I always say I'm the least of the disciples. I don't even hardly like to even say that I'm this or I'm that, because as soon as you say I'm a Christian or I'm a believer, then people utter, well, why do you do this thing? Why do you speak that way? The reason I do what I do is because it's my testimony to you that I'm an authentic person. I'm not sold out to anything or anybody but Christ, and he leads me where I need to go. and shows me what I need to do, and he'll do the same for you. One thing that I don't hear a lot about is holiness anymore, and without it, we can't see God. So, y'all try a little bit of holy in your life, and things will get better. It always does. It always does. But I just want to thank you so much. There's so many things to discuss, and we're gonna hit a lot of different topics as we go on. We've all been under some strong influences, and we're living in exciting days where the veil is being lifted, that we can look back and see how the spells have been cast by the evil Kabbalah, or whatever you want to say, the kingdom of evil, and has had people literally bound in their sins and in their programming, so that nobody could even do anything different. But those days are gone. The kingdom of darkness has fallen, and the light and opportunity of God is just abundant everywhere. So I really thank you. God bless you and keep you. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. I'll be back for another live. Please check out my videos that I put out this evening. It's pretty interesting because it was kind of an analysis from the News Nation interview, where JP literally redacted the apology letter that he had written to Mica, saying that she pretty much had insisted that he write according to him, where he apologized for tracking her, for stalking her, for posting a semi-nude photo of her up, for doing all these horrible things. Apologized. Well, he said in the interview that yes, he did indeed write it, but no, he did not mean it. He was merely playing into her mental state to appease her so that she would take her medicine, like he always says. So I took a linguist analysis. Is from, why is this word so hard? Practical linguistics. Very awesome fellow that does this analysis. It is a little bit dry, so I broke it up with some of the News Nation interview and some of my own thoughts. So take a look at that. It's pretty interesting, and you can see very much how narcissistic JP really is. Even in his apology, he couldn't even stick to that. He had to take it back and then lie a bunch on top of that. And it would be funny, except for it's not. Right? Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace out.